I slept with my sister's fiancé on purpose, convinced he'd call the whole engagement off. My sister Julie had been dating Blake for like 3 years, and I knew something was off about him from day one. The way he'd look at other girls when Julie wasn't paying attention. How he'd get super defensive if she asked about his phone. Little stuff that adds up. But Julie was so freaking happy. She kept showing me her Pinterest boards with wedding dresses and talking about venues. Our mom was already planning the rehearsal dinner. Everyone loved Blake because he had this whole charming thing going on where he'd bring flowers and remember everyone's birthdays. 6 months ago, he proposed at some fancy restaurant. Julie called me crying happy tears at like midnight. I said all the right things, but my stomach was doing flips because I just knew this dude was gonna break her heart eventually. Then like 2 months ago, I'm at this bar with my friend Kelsey and I see Blake. Not with Julie. He's sitting there with some blonde girl and they're definitely not having a business meeting, if you know what I mean. His hand was on her leg under the table. I took a video on my phone real quick and left before he saw me. Showed Julie the next day. She made every excuse possible. That's probably his coworker. They were just talking. You're being paranoid. She actually got mad at me for trying to ruin her happiness. Said I was jealous because I was single. That hurt, but whatever. So I decided to prove it. If Blake was actually loyal, he'd turn down any advances. If he wasn't, well, better she finds out now than after the wedding. I texted him from a new number I got on one of those app things. Pretended I met him at a party last month. Sent a pic that wasn't fully me, like from far away. He texted back within 5 minutes. We texted for a week. I kept it flirty, but not too obvious. He never once mentioned having a fiancé. When I asked if he was seeing anyone, he said, "Nothing serious right now. Nothing serious." His wedding was literally 4 months away. I suggested we meet up for drinks. He said yes immediately. Gave me a time and place. I showed up actually looking like myself. Hair different, wearing stuff I never wear around family. He didn't recognize me at first. We had 2 drinks. He put his hand on my lower back, asked if I wanted to go somewhere more private. I said yes. We ended up at his apartment, the same apartment where Julie kept half her stuff. I could see her shampoo in the bathroom when I walked past. He kissed me in the hallway, pulled me toward his bedroom. There was a framed photo of him and Julie on the nightstand. He turned it face down without even pausing. I let it happen. The whole time I kept my phone recording audio in my jacket pocket on the chair. I know that sounds crazy, but I needed actual proof because Julie wouldn't believe anything less. After, he asked for my number. His real number this time, not the fake app one. I gave him another fake one. I left around 2 in the morning, drove home and threw up in my driveway. Not because I felt guilty exactly, more like my body finally caught up with what I'd just done. Spent 3 days trying to figure out how to tell Julie. The wedding invitations had already gone out. She'd picked her dress, bridesmaids were fitted. I made a USB drive with the texts, the audio, everything. Labeled it and put it in an envelope. Now I'm sitting in my car outside Julie's place. She texted me 10 minutes ago asking if I wanted to come over and watch that new show everyone's talking about. Blake's car isn't in the driveway. The envelope is sitting on my passenger seat. My hand is on the door handle. I grab it and walk inside using my spare key. Julie's in the bedroom. I can hear her talking to someone on the phone, voice shaky. I stop outside the door. "Mom, I found another woman's ring in Blake's car. It's not mine. It's smaller and it has a different inscription inside." My blood goes cold. I didn't wear a ring. It says "Forever yours" and there's a date from last week. "Mom, what if he's seeing someone else? What if he bought her a ring too?" I touch my hand. My sister's old promise ring I borrowed last month. The one I forgot in his car. I stood frozen in that hallway for what felt like forever. My sister's voice kept going, getting more frantic with every word. "I don't know what to do, Mom. The wedding is in 4 months. We already sent out invitations. People booked flights." I could hear our mom's voice through the phone, tinny and distant, trying to calm her down. But Julie wasn't having it. "You don't understand. This ring has a date engraved inside. Last week. He bought someone a ring last week." My legs felt like they were filled with concrete. That promise ring was something Julie gave me when we were teenagers. She got it from our grandmother before she passed. It was this thin silver band with "Forever yours" engraved inside, along with the date our grandmother got engaged to our grandfather. I'd borrowed it last month because I was going to a formal work event and wanted something that looked nice but not flashy. I forgot to return it, and apparently I forgot it in Blake's car that night. That night, the night I slept with her fiancé. Julie was now crying openly. What if he's planning to leave me? What if this whole engagement has been a lie? I wanted to walk in there and tell her everything. That's why I came, right? That's why I had the envelope in my hand with all the evidence. But now everything was different, because Julie didn't find evidence that Blake was a cheater. She found evidence that I was the other woman. My mind started racing through scenarios. If I walked in there right now and showed her the USB drive, what would she think? She'd see texts between Blake and some mystery woman. She'd hear audio of them together. And then she'd see that ring. The ring she gave me. The ring that was now in his car. She'd put it together in about 5 seconds. I backed away from the bedroom door as quietly as I could. My hands were shaking so bad the envelope was making noise. I got to the living room and just stood there trying to figure out what to do. The front door was right there. I could leave. pretend I never came. But Julie texted me to come over. She'd wonder why I never showed up. Then I heard footsteps. Ava? Julie was standing in the hallway, phone still pressed to her ear, mascara streaking down her face. She looked at me, then at the envelope in my hand. When did you get here? Just now. I lied. Door was unlocked. I heard you crying. What's wrong? She hung up on Mom without saying goodbye and rushed toward me. For a second, I thought she knew. I thought she'd figured it out and was about to confront me. Instead, she threw her arms around me and sobbed into my shoulder. Blake's cheating on me. I found another woman's ring in his car. I held my sister while she cried, feeling like the worst person on the planet. Because I was. I absolutely was. Tell me what happened, I said, keeping my voice as steady as possible. She pulled back and wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I was looking for my sunglasses in his glove box. Found this little velvet pouch shoved way in the back. Inside was a ring. A woman's ring, not mine. Maybe it's for someone in his family? A birthday gift or something? The words tasted bitter coming out of my mouth. I knew exactly whose ring it was. I knew exactly how it got there. But I was buying time, trying to figure out how to salvage this disaster. It's engraved, Ava. Forever yours with a date from last week. That's not a birthday gift, that's an engagement ring. Or a promise ring. Or something you give to someone you're serious about. I felt sick. Did you ask him about it? He's at work. I've been trying to call, but he's not picking up. She looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. What do I do? The wedding is in 4 months. 4 months. I didn't know what to say. Everything I'd planned was falling apart. I came here to expose Blake as a cheater, to show Julie that her perfect fiancé was willing to sleep with a random woman he met at a bar. I thought she'd be devastated, but then she'd be grateful. She'd thank me for saving her from marrying a lying scumbag. But now it looked like I was the lying scumbag. Or at least the evidence pointed directly at me. Julie, I started, not even knowing what I was going to say next. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen and her face went pale. It's Blake. She answered before I could say anything. I watched her expression change as she listened. Confusion, then anger, then something worse, betrayal. What do you mean you can explain? Her voice was sharp. Explain what? The ring I found in your car? The one with another woman's name engraved inside? Wait, another woman's name? There was no name engraved on that ring. Just forever yours and a date. I don't care whose grandmother it belonged to. I care about why it was in your car with a recent date inside. I could hear Blake's voice on the other end, fast and desperate. Julie's face was getting redder by the second. You're telling me some girl left her grandmother's ring in your car after you gave her a ride home from a party? What kind of idiot do you think I am? My stomach dropped. He was lying. He was actually lying about the ring, making up some story about giving a random girl a ride home. But why? Then it hit me. Blake didn't know whose ring it was either. He probably found it the morning after and panicked. Maybe he thought it belonged to another woman he'd been seeing. Or maybe he thought I left it on purpose to cause problems. Either way, he was scrambling to cover his tracks. And his cover story was terrible. You know what, Blake? I don't believe you. I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth anymore. Don't bother coming home tonight. She hung up and threw her phone on the couch. Then she turned to me. Can you believe him? A girl needed a ride home from a party and accidentally left her grandmother's ring in his car? Who carries around their grandmother's ring to parties? I should have told her the truth right then. I should have said, actually, Julie, that's my ring. The one you gave me when we were kids. I left it in his car because I slept with him. But I didn't. Because I'm a coward. And because I saw an opportunity. Blake was digging his own grave with his lies. If I just stayed quiet, he'd keep lying. Keep making things worse for himself. Julie would eventually figure out he was cheating. She'd call off the wedding. And I wouldn't have to admit what I did. It was perfect. Terrible, but perfect. What are you going to do? I asked. Julie sank onto the couch, looking exhausted. I don't know. The invitations already went out. My dress is being altered. Mom already put a deposit on the rehearsal dinner venue. Everything is already in motion. None of that matters if he's not the right person. She looked at me with wet eyes. How do I know if he's the right person anymore? I thought I knew him. I thought we were happy. I sat down next to her, the envelope still in my hand. The USB drive inside felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Maybe you should take some time. Figure out what you want. You don't have to make any decisions tonight. What's in the envelope? My heart stopped. What? She pointed at my hand. You came in holding an envelope. What is it? I looked down at the manila envelope like I'd forgotten it was there. Oh, this. It's, work stuff. Just some documents I need to review. On a Saturday night? You know how it is, deadlines. She seemed to accept that. We spent the next hour talking about Blake, about the ring, about what she should do. The whole time I kept that envelope pressed against my leg, hidden from view. I listened to her defend him, then doubt him, then defend him again. The emotional roller coaster was painful to watch. Around midnight, she finally crashed on the couch, emotionally exhausted. I covered her with a blanket and let myself out. The envelope was still in my hand. I sat in my car for a long time, just staring at nothing. Then I opened the envelope and pulled out the USB drive. I thought about throwing it away. smashing it with a hammer, pretending none of this ever happened. But then I thought about Julie, my sister, the girl who used to braid my hair and share her Halloween candy with me, the girl who cried at my high school graduation because she was so proud, the girl who was about to marry a man who would cheat on her. She deserved to know the truth, just not the whole truth. I started my car and drove home. By the time I got there, I had a plan. The next 3 weeks were the longest of my life. Julie and Blake were working through things. That's how she put it. They had long conversations, couples therapy sessions, tearful reconciliations. Blake stuck to his story about the ring. Some random girl, a party, a ride home. He even produced text messages from a female coworker thanking him for the ride, complete with apologies for leaving something in his car. Fake texts, I assumed. Or maybe he'd found some random exchange and was repurposing it to fit his lie. Either way, Julie was starting to believe him. I watched it happen in real time. Her doubt slowly fading, her trust slowly returning, the wedding planning resuming like nothing had happened. It made me sick. I'd come so close to exposing him. I'd literally had proof in my hands, but I couldn't use it without exposing myself. The audio recording would just be voices. Blake's voice, and some woman he met at a bar. Julie might not recognize my voice, but she'd definitely start asking questions. Who was this woman? How did you get this recording? And then there was the ring. That stupid ring. If Julie ever figured out it was the promise ring she gave me, everything would unravel. So I stayed quiet, watched my sister fall back in love with the man who didn't deserve her, sat through family dinners where Blake charmed everyone with his stupid perfect smile. 3 weeks after Julie found the ring, our mom hosted a Sunday brunch. The whole family was there. Julie and Blake, me, our parents, our Aunt Rita and Uncle Cal, our cousins. It was supposed to be a celebration. The wedding was back on track, and everyone was relieved. I sat at the far end of the table, pushing scrambled eggs around my plate while Blake held court with some story about his job. Julie looked at him like he hung the moon. It was nauseating. Then my cousin Petra leaned over and whispered to me, "Hey, whatever happened with that guy you were seeing? The one you told me about at my birthday party?" I almost choked on my orange juice. "What guy?" "The one you said was complicated. You were being all mysterious about it." My mind raced. At Petra's birthday party 2 months ago, I'd had a few drinks and gotten loose-lipped. I vaguely remembered telling her I was talking to someone, but it was complicated. I didn't mention names, didn't give details. But now Petra was looking at me with curious eyes, and Blake was sitting 10 feet away. "That didn't work out," I said, trying to keep my voice casual. He turned out to be kind of a jerk. "Oh, that sucks. You seemed really into him, though. You kept checking your phone all night." "Yeah, well, sometimes you think someone's worth it and they're not." Petra nodded sympathetically and went back to her food. But I noticed Blake glancing in my direction, just for a second. Then he looked away. Did he hear that? Did he suspect something? I spent the rest of brunch paranoid, analyzing every look, every word. But Blake seemed normal, charming as ever, completely at ease. Maybe I was overthinking it. After brunch, I helped Mom clean up while everyone else scattered to the living room. She was rinsing dishes while I loaded the dishwasher. "You've been quiet lately," she said without looking at me. "Just busy with work." "You sure that's all? You seem off." I focused on arranging plates in the dishwasher. "I'm fine, Mom. You know you can talk to me about anything, right? Whatever's bothering you." For a split second, I considered telling her. Everything. The bar, the texts, Blake's apartment, the recording, all of it. My mom had always been the person I went to with problems. She had this way of making everything seem manageable. But how do you tell your mother that you slept with your sister's fiancé? That you did it on purpose? That you thought you were doing the right thing, but now everything was a mess? "I'm fine," I repeated. "Just tired." She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. "Okay, but I'm here if you need me." I finished loading the dishwasher and escaped to the living room. Julie was showing everyone something on her phone. Wedding stuff, probably. I grabbed my purse and made an excuse about needing to leave early. "Already?" Julie looked disappointed. "We were going to show everyone the seating chart. I have a work thing. But send it to me, I'll take a look." I hugged her goodbye. Blake gave me a casual wave from across the room. "See you around, Ava." Something about the way he said it made my skin crawl. I drove home with the windows down, trying to clear my head. The evening air was cool, almost cold for this time of year. I was so lost in thought that I almost missed my exit. When I pulled into my apartment complex, I saw a car I didn't recognize parked in my usual spot. A dark blue sedan, expensive looking. The driver was still inside, just sitting there. I parked a few spots away and got out, keeping an eye on the sedan. The driver's door opened. Blake stepped out. My heart slammed against my ribs. "What are you doing here?" He walked toward me slowly, hands in his pockets. That charming smile was gone. In its place was something harder, colder. "We need to talk." "About what?" "I think you know." He stopped a few feet away from me, close enough that I could see the muscle twitching in his jaw. The look in his eyes made me take a step back. "Julie's at home right now," he said. "She thinks I'm grabbing beer for tonight's game, but I had to make a stop first, to see the woman who's been trying to ruin my life." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Drop the act, Ava." His voice was low, dangerous. "Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? The bar, the texts, The hotel. It was you the whole time. The blood drained from my face. How did you? The ring. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. That stupid ring you left in my car. Julie showed it to me when she was freaking out. I didn't recognize it at first. But then I remembered seeing a picture on Julie's Instagram from like 6 years ago. You and her at some family thing. You were wearing that exact ring. I felt like the ground was shifting under my feet. I did some digging after that, found the fake number you used, traced it back to one of those app services. You weren't as careful as you thought. Blake, what was your plan? Sleep with me, get evidence, destroy my engagement, turn Julie against me? He stepped closer. Did you think I was just going to let that happen? I found my voice. You cheated on her. You were willing to cheat on her. I just proved what kind of person you really are. And what kind of person does that make you? He was in my face now. You set me up. You manipulated me. You slept with your own sister's fiancé. How do you think Julie's going to react when she finds out? The threat hung in the air between us. You won't tell her, I said, trying to sound confident. If you tell her what I did, you have to admit what you did. I already have a story. The ring belonged to a coworker. I gave her a ride home. It's all documented. With fake texts you probably created yourself. Texts that Julie believes. He smiled, and it was the most unsettling thing I'd ever seen. See, here's how this is going to go. You're going to back off. Stop trying to sabotage my relationship. And in exchange, I won't tell Julie that her beloved sister is the one who's been trying to seduce her fiancé. That's not what happened, and you know it. Doesn't matter what happened. Matters what Julie believes. And right now, she believes me. He leaned in close, his breath hot on my face. Don't test me, Ava. You have way more to lose than I do. He turned and walked back to his car. I stood there, frozen, watching him drive away. I didn't sleep that night. Update 1. 2 weeks passed, 2 weeks of avoiding family dinners, dodging Julie's calls, and jumping every time my phone buzzed. Blake's threat hung over me like a guillotine. He had leverage. He knew who I was, what I did, and he was using it to keep me quiet. But here's the thing about blackmail. It only works as long as the other person stays scared. I'd spent those 2 weeks scared, paralyzed. But fear has an expiration date, especially when you realize you're not the only one with something to hide. I started digging. Blake thought he'd covered his tracks with the fake texts and the coworker story. But men like Blake don't cheat once. They cheat repeatedly. They get comfortable, sloppy, arrogant, and arrogance leaves trails. I started with his social media. His profiles were locked down, but Julie's weren't. I scrolled through years of photos looking for patterns. Party pictures, vacation shots, group dinners. I was looking for anyone who appeared too often. Any woman who seemed a little too close. That's when I found her. Her name was Celeste Kimura. She appeared in at least a dozen photos over the past 2 years. Work functions, happy hours, even a company retreat. In most pictures, she was standing next to Blake, laughing at something he said, touching his arm. Julie probably thought nothing of it. Celeste was just a coworker, right? Just a friend. But I noticed something else. Celeste's Instagram was public, and her most recent posts told a very interesting story. 3 weeks ago, right around when Julie found the ring, Celeste posted a sad quote about betrayal. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. A week later, another post. A photo of a bonfire with the caption, "Burning the past, moving forward." Then, just a few days ago, a picture of moving boxes. New city, new chapter. Goodbye to everyone who made me feel small. Celeste was leaving town, running away from something, or someone. I found her email through her photography business website and sent a message. "Hi, Celeste. You don't know me, but I think we have something in common. His name is Blake Pemberton. I'd like to talk." She responded within an hour. We met at a coffee shop across town. Neutral territory. Celeste was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth with her hands wrapped around a mug of tea. She was pretty in a delicate way, petite, with long dark hair and nervous eyes. "You're Julie's sister," she said before I could even sit down. "I've seen pictures. And you're Blake's coworker, former coworker." She took a sip of her tea. "I quit 3 weeks ago, moving to Portland next month." I sat across from her. "Because of Blake?" She was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. "He told me he was leaving Julie, that their engagement was just for show, that his family was pressuring him to settle down, but he didn't love her." Her voice was flat, rehearsed, like she'd told herself this story 100 times. I believed him. For almost a year, I believed him. My stomach twisted. A year? 11 months, actually. We were careful. Separate cars, separate hotels, no contact during work hours. He had all these rules. She laughed bitterly. I thought he was just being cautious, protecting both of us until he could end things with Julie properly. What changed? A few weeks ago, Julie found something in his car, a ring. He called me in a panic, asking if I'd left anything behind. I hadn't. But he was paranoid someone was onto him. The ring. My ring. He started distancing himself after that, said we needed to cool things off until the wedding was over. Until the wedding was over. Her eyes filled with tears. He was never going to leave her. The whole time he was just using me. I felt a weird kinship with Celeste in that moment. We'd both been deceived by the same man. We'd both believed his lies, even when the truth was staring us in the face. "I'm sorry," I said. "I know that doesn't help, but I am." She wiped her eyes. "Why did you want to meet? What do you want from me?" "The truth. Evidence. Anything that proves what Blake really is." Celeste was quiet. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. "I have texts. Hundreds of them. Voice messages. Photos he sent me." She scrolled through her gallery. "I kept everything. I don't know why. Maybe I always knew it would end like this. Would you be willing to share them with me?" "Why? What are you going to do?" "I'm going to tell Julie. She deserves to know who she's really marrying." Celeste studied me for a long moment. "You could have done that weeks ago. Why didn't you?" "Because I slept with him too. Because the evidence I had also implicated me. Because I was scared. But I didn't say any of that. It's complicated, but I'm done waiting. Julie needs to see the truth before she walks down that aisle." Celeste nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll send you everything. But I want to stay anonymous. I'm starting over in a new city. I don't want this following me. I can keep your name out of it." She looked relieved. "Thank you." We exchanged numbers. Before I left, Celeste grabbed my arm. "Be careful with him. Blake's not who he pretends to be. When I tried to end things, he showed up at my apartment screaming, threatening to tell my boss, my friends, everyone. He said he'd destroy my reputation if I didn't keep quiet." A chill ran down my spine. "What did you do?" "I quit my job, changed my number, started planning my move." She looked me dead in the eyes. "He's dangerous, Ava. Don't underestimate him." Celeste's texts came through that night, hundreds of them. Screenshots filling my phone until the storage warning popped up. The messages painted a picture of a relationship that had been going on for nearly a year. Plans to meet up, inside jokes, photos from hotels across the city, and worst of all, promises. Blake promising to leave Julie, promising a future together, promising things that he never intended to deliver. But the texts weren't the most damaging thing Celeste sent me. There was a video. It was taken at what looked like a company Christmas party. Low lighting, people dancing in the background. Someone, probably Celeste's friend, had captured Blake and Celeste slow dancing in the corner. His hands were on her waist. His face was pressed against her neck, and they were clearly more than just colleagues. The video was dated, December of last year, 6 months before Blake proposed to Julie. I watched it 3 times. Each time I felt more disgusted. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a calculated, ongoing deception that Blake had maintained for almost a year while planning a wedding with my sister. I had what I needed, but I still had a problem. Blake knew what I did. He had threatened to tell Julie. And while Celeste's evidence was damning, it didn't erase my own involvement. If I exposed Blake, he might expose me. And then Julie would lose her fiancé and her sister in the same day. I needed a plan. I spent 3 days thinking through scenarios. Every option had risks. Every path led to potential disaster. Then I realized something. Blake was a narcissist. He cared about appearances more than anything else. His whole identity was built around being the perfect guy. Charming, successful, beloved by everyone. That's why he'd created the fake texts about the coworker giving her a ride. That's why he'd gaslit Julie into doubting her own instincts. He couldn't stand the idea of being seen as the villain. What if I gave him a choice? What if I offered him an exit that let him save face? It was risky, but it was the only option that protected Julie without destroying everything. I texted Blake. "We need to talk. Meet me at Riverside Park tomorrow at 6 p.m. Come alone." His response came an hour later. "This should be interesting." Riverside Park was empty when I arrived. The sun was starting to set, casting long shadows across the walking paths. I found a bench near the fountain and waited. Blake showed up exactly at 6. He was wearing a blazer over a t-shirt, like he was trying to look casual but important. His face was unreadable. "This is a nice spot for an ambush," he said, sitting down next to me. "Very dramatic." "I'm not here to ambush you." "No? Then why the cloak and dagger routine?" I pulled out my phone and showed him the video from the Christmas party. His face went pale. "Where did you get that?" "Doesn't matter. What matters is that I have it, along with about 300 text messages and a dozen photos that tell the same story." He was quiet for a long moment. Then he laughed, a hollow, humorless sound. "So this is blackmail? You want money?" "I don't want your money. I want you to end things with Julie." "What?" "Call off the engagement. Tell her whatever you want. Say you're not ready, say you met someone else, say whatever saves your precious reputation, but end it before the wedding." Blake stared at me like I'd grown a second head. "You're insane." "Maybe, but I'm also serious. And if I don't, you'll show Julie the video? Tell her about Celeste? Not just Julie, everyone. Your family, your friends, your coworkers. That video gets sent to every person in your contact list, along with a detailed explanation of your year-long affair." He went very still. "You'd destroy yourself in the process. Julie would never forgive you for sleeping with me. That's my problem to deal with, not yours. You're bluffing." I held up my phone. "Try me." We stared at each other. The fountain bubbled in the background. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. Finally, Blake spoke. What guarantee do I have that you won't release this anyway? Even if I end things with Julie? None. But think about it. If you end the engagement quietly, you control the narrative. You can be the guy who wasn't ready for marriage, the guy who needed more time. That's sympathetic. That's forgivable. I leaned closer. But if this video gets out, you're the guy who cheated on his fiancé for a year while planning a wedding. You're the villain. Forever. His jaw tightened. I could see the wheels turning in his head. You're asking me to give up everything I've built. Julie's family loves me. My parents are thrilled about the wedding. My career is on track. All of that goes away if I walk out. All of that goes away anyway if this video goes public. At least this way you have a chance to rebuild. He was silent for a long time. Then he stood up. I need to think about it. You have 48 hours. After that, I send the video. He looked at me with something like respect, or maybe hatred. It was hard to tell. You're not what I expected, Ava. Neither are you. He walked away without another word. The next 48 hours were torture. I kept checking my phone, expecting a text from Blake, or from Julie saying he'd told her everything, or from my mom, demanding to know what I'd done. But nothing came. On the second night, I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, when my phone buzzed. It was Julie. Can you come over? Something happened. My heart dropped. This was it. Blake had told her. He'd called my bluff, and now everything was about to explode. I drove to Julie's apartment in a daze. When I got there, she was waiting on the porch. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. What happened? I asked, even though I was pretty sure I knew. Blake ended things. I blinked. What? He called me an hour ago. Said he's not ready for marriage. Said he needs time to figure out what he wants. She started crying again. He said it's not me, it's him. How cliché is that? I stood there, frozen. Blake had actually done it. He'd ended the engagement, but Julie was devastated. I don't understand, she sobbed. Everything was fine. We worked through the ring thing. We were back on track, and then he just ends it? I pulled her into a hug, feeling like the worst person alive, because I'd caused this. I'd pushed Blake into a corner and forced him to choose. And he'd chosen to save himself, which meant Julie was collateral damage. I'm so sorry, I whispered, and I meant it, more than she would ever know. We sat on her porch for hours. She cried, I listened. She asked what she did wrong. I told her nothing. She wondered if there was someone else. I said I didn't know. Every lie burned coming out of my mouth. By the time I left, the sun was coming up. Julie was exhausted but calmer. She said she was going to take some time off work, maybe visit our cousin in Colorado for a few weeks. I just need to get away, she said. Clear my head. I told her that was a good idea. Then I drove home and threw up in my bathroom. Update 2. 3 months passed. Julie went to Colorado like she planned. Stayed for 6 weeks. When she came back, she seemed better. Not healed, but healing. She got a new haircut, started a yoga class, made plans with friends she'd neglected during her relationship with Blake. She didn't talk about him much. When his name came up, she'd get this distant look in her eyes and change the subject. I didn't push. Our family rallied around her. Sunday brunches became about supporting Julie. Mom stopped mentioning wedding stuff. Dad kept bringing up how she could do so much better. Everyone pretended the last 3 years had never happened. Everyone except me. I couldn't pretend. Every time I saw Julie smile, I felt guilty. Every time she mentioned moving on, I wondered if she'd feel the same way if she knew the truth. Because the truth was still out there. Buried, but not gone. I'd kept my end of the deal with Blake. I never sent the video, never contacted Celeste again, never breathed a word to anyone. And Blake had kept his distance. From Julie, from our family, from me. It should have been over. But some secrets don't stay buried. It started with a Facebook message. I didn't recognize the sender. Her name was Trini Okafor, and her profile picture was a sunset over mountains, generic enough to be anyone. Hey Ava, you don't know me, but I think we need to talk. It's about Blake Pemberton and your sister. My blood went cold. I almost ignored it, almost deleted it without responding. But something made me open the message thread. I know what happened. I know what you did, and I know what Blake's been telling people. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back, who are you? Someone who's been watching. We should meet. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. at that coffee shop on Maple Street. Come alone. Every instinct told me this was a trap, but I also couldn't ignore it. If someone knew the truth, if Blake had been talking, I needed to know how bad the damage was. I'll be there. Trini Okafor turned out to be a woman in her late 20s with sharp eyes and an even sharper tongue. She was already sitting at a corner table when I arrived, sipping an iced coffee like she didn't have a care in the world. Ava, she said as I sat down. Thanks for coming. How do you know my name? How do you know about Blake? She smiled. I'll explain everything. But first, I need to know, are you recording this? No. Mind if I check? I held up my phone, showed her it was off, then set it on the table between us. Good. She leaned back in her chair. My name's not actually Trini. I used a fake profile to contact you. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that I know Blake better than almost anyone. I dated him for 2 years. I felt the floor shift under me. When? Before Julie. Before he moved here. We were together in Phoenix. And you're… what? An ex-girlfriend with a grudge? Something like that. Her smile faded. Blake Pemberton is not who he pretends to be. The charming act, the perfect boyfriend routine, it's all fake. Underneath, he's controlling, manipulative, and honestly, kind of scary. I already know he cheated on my sister. Oh dear, it's worse than cheating. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo. It was a woman's arm, covered in bruises. That's me. 6 months into our relationship. Blake didn't like something I said at a party, so he grabbed me hard enough to leave marks. My stomach turned. He hit you? He never punched me. He was too smart for that. But he grabbed, pushed, squeezed, always where clothes would cover it, always with an apology afterward. Her voice was cold. I tried to leave twice. Both times he threatened to destroy my reputation. Said he'd tell everyone I was crazy, unstable, dangerous. I believed him. What happened? He got a job offer here and dumped me. Said long distance wouldn't work. I was so relieved I didn't even care. She put her phone away. I've been keeping tabs on him since, watching from afar, making sure he didn't hurt anyone else the same way. And Julie? Julie was different. She's strong, confident, not his usual type. I thought maybe he'd changed. She paused. Then I found out about you. My heart stopped. What do you mean? Blake's been telling people about what happened. Not everyone, just a few people he trusts. His version is that Julie's sister tried to seduce him, and when he rejected her, she went psycho and started trying to sabotage his relationship. I know it's not true. I know how Blake operates. He twists everything to make himself the victim. She looked at me steadily. What really happened, Ava? I could have lied. Could have stuck to the story I'd been telling myself for months. But something about this woman, this stranger who'd been hurt by the same man, made me want to be honest. So I told her everything. The bar, the texts, the hotel, the recording I'd made, the ring I'd left behind, the confrontation with Blake, the deal we'd made, all of it. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. You slept with him, she said finally. Your sister's fiancé. Yes. To prove he was a cheater. Yes. And then you blackmailed him into ending the engagement. I gave him a choice. She laughed. A harsh, surprised sound. That's almost impressive. Twisted as hell, but impressive. I'm not proud of it. You shouldn't be. But I also understand why you did it. She finished her coffee. Blake's been running his mouth because he's angry. He thought he had everything. The perfect fiancé, the perfect life, the perfect cover for his bullshit. You took that away from him. So what now? Is he going to tell Julie? Probably not. He'd have to admit what he did, and his ego won't let him. She stood up. But you should tell her. I can't. It would destroy her. Maybe. Or maybe she'd rather know the truth than live with a lie. She pulled a card from her purse and handed it to me. My real number, in case you need backup, or in case Blake tries something. I took the card. Why are you helping me? Because Blake hurt me, and I never got justice. Maybe helping you is the closest I'll ever get. She walked out without another word. I couldn't stop thinking about what she said. Tell her the truth. It sounded so simple. Just sit Julie down, explain everything, deal with the consequences. But how do you tell your sister that you slept with her fiancé? How do you explain that you did it on purpose? That you thought you were helping, but really you were just making everything worse? I couldn't do it. I couldn't be the one to break her heart again, but I also couldn't keep living with this secret. 3 days after meeting with Trini, or whatever her real name was, I made a decision. I wasn't going to tell Julie. Not directly, but I was going to give her the choice. I wrote a letter. Julie, by the time you read this, you'll probably hate me. That's okay. I deserve it. I need to tell you something about Blake. Something I should have told you months ago. Before you found that ring in his car, I already knew he was a cheater. I saw him at a bar with another woman 2 months before. I tried to tell you, but you didn't believe me. You said I was jealous, so I did something stupid. I tested him. I contacted him using a fake number, pretending to be someone he'd met at a party. I wanted to see if he'd take the bait. He did. Within 5 minutes, he was texting me back. Within a week, he was asking to meet up. What happened next is the part I'm most ashamed of. I met him. I went to his apartment. I slept with him. I know. There's no excuse. I told myself I was doing it for you, to prove what kind of man he really was. But the truth is, I crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. The ring you found in his car? It was mine. The promise ring you gave me years ago. I left it by accident. When Blake figured out it was me, he threatened to tell you. He said if I exposed him, he'd expose me too. So I made a deal. I found evidence of another affair, a woman he'd been seeing for almost a year, and used it to force him to end the engagement. He didn't leave because he wasn't ready. He left because I blackmailed him. I know none of this makes sense. I know you're probably furious, confused, heartbroken. I am too. But you deserve the truth, even if it comes too late. I'm sorry, Julie, for everything. Your sister, Ava. I sealed the letter in an envelope and wrote Julie's name on the front. Then I put it in my desk drawer. I couldn't send it. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But writing it down, putting the truth on paper, it felt like a start. Like maybe someday, I'd be brave enough to face what I'd done. A month later, Julie called me out of the blue. I'm seeing someone, she said. Her voice was light, almost giddy. His name is Porter. He's a veterinarian. We met at the dog park. That's amazing, Jules. I'm so happy for you. He's nothing like Blake. He's kind and honest, and he actually listens when I talk. She laughed. I know it's early, but Ava, I think this could be something real. My throat tightened. You deserve something real. I do, don't I? She was quiet for a moment. I've been thinking about Blake a lot lately. Not missing him, just processing. And I keep coming back to this feeling that I was saved from something. Like the universe intervened before I made a huge mistake. Maybe it did. Yeah, maybe. She paused. Anyway, I wanted to tell you first, before I told Mom and Dad, because you've always been there for me, even when I didn't appreciate it. The guilt hit me like a truck. Julie, I love you, sis. I know we don't say it enough, but I do. I closed my eyes. The letter in my desk drawer felt like a bomb waiting to go off. I love you too. Update 3. Final update. 6 months later, Julie and Porter got engaged. A small ceremony, no fuss, just close family and friends. They chose a vineyard in Napa Valley, a place they'd visited on their 3rd date. I was her maid of honor. Standing up there, watching my sister marry a man who actually deserved her, I felt 2 things at once: overwhelming happiness and crushing guilt. They coexisted in my chest like 2 magnets pushing against each other. The guilt hadn't faded. I'd tried therapy, journaling, even meditation. Nothing made it go away completely. But I'd learned to live with it, to carry it without letting it crush me. The letter was still in my desk drawer, still sealed, still waiting. I'd come close to giving it to Julie 100 times. Once, I actually drove to her apartment with the envelope in my hand. I sat in my car for an hour before driving home. I told myself I was protecting her, that the truth would only hurt her now that she'd moved on, that some secrets were better left buried. But deep down, I knew I was protecting myself. The wedding reception was beautiful. Twinkle lights strung between trees, a live band playing soft jazz, guests mingling under a canopy of stars. Julie was radiant, laughing at something Porter whispered in her ear. I was standing by the dessert table watching them dance when my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. Saw the wedding photos on Instagram. Looks like Julie found her happy ending. Good for her. My blood went cold. Who is this? You know who it is. Blake. I stepped away from the crowd, ducking behind a cluster of oak trees. What do you want? Just wanted to say congratulations. And to let you know I've moved on too. New city, new job, new girlfriend. Life's good. Then why are you texting me? Because I want you to know something. A pause. I almost told Julie the truth. A few weeks ago, I wrote up this whole confession, complete with screenshots, dates, everything. I was going to send it to her anonymously. My hands started shaking. Why didn't you? Because I realized it wouldn't hurt you. It would hurt her. And as much as I hate what you did, I don't hate Julie. I didn't know what to say. You won, Ava. You got what you wanted. Your sister's happy, I'm out of the picture, and nobody knows what really happened. Another pause. But you and me, we know. And you're going to carry that for the rest of your life. He was right. I knew he was right. I just wanted you to know that I could have destroyed everything. And I chose not to. The message came through. That's the difference between us. Then he went silent. I waited for another text, but nothing came. I stood there in the dark, phone in my hand, listening to the distant sounds of the reception. Music, laughter, happiness. Everything I'd fought to protect, and everything I'd lied to achieve. Later that night, after the last guest had left and Julie had driven off with Porter to their honeymoon, I found myself alone on the vineyard grounds. The crew was cleaning up, folding chairs, taking down lights, packing away what remained of the fairy tale evening. I wandered through the empty space, remembering how Julie had looked walking down that aisle. She'd glanced at me before taking her first step. Just a quick look, a small smile, like she was saying, "Here we go." And I'd smiled back, fighting to keep my eyes dry, fighting to keep my face steady. I'd done terrible things, but maybe I'd also done the right thing? I didn't know anymore. The lines had blurred so long ago that I couldn't see where good ended and bad began. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Trini. Saw the wedding posts. She looks happy. She is. Are you? I thought about the question. Really thought about it. I'm getting there. That's all any of us can do. 2 weeks later, I burned the letter. I didn't make a ceremony of it. Just stood over my kitchen sink with a lighter, watching the paper curl and blacken. The words I'd written, my confession, my apology, my guilt, turned to ash and disappeared down the drain. I don't know if it was the right choice. Maybe Julie deserved to know. Maybe she still deserves to know. But I made a decision that night at the vineyard. I decided that some truths cause more harm than good. That protecting someone you love sometimes means carrying a burden they don't know exists. I'll live with what I did. I'll carry it every day, in every conversation with my sister, every family dinner, every moment of joy that's tinged with the shadow of my secret. That's my punishment. And maybe that's exactly what I deserve.